What's up, YouTube? It's Horacio. In today's topic, we're talking about relationships. So, the big question I have for everyone is the question that's the title of this video is: are you ready for a relationship? And this all comes down to your own self evaluation and whether you are ready or not. And a lot of people who say they are ready are not actually ready. And I can go deeper in detail with this because a lot of people want to be in a relationship, but they are not ready to be in one. They just crave the feeling, the sensation of happiness when in a relationship, but you have to give that feeling or sensation to yourself first. And what I mean for that what I mean by that is, consider when you're in a relationship, how does it make you feel? What does it do to you? And for me, I'll answer this question. I feel when I'm in a relationship, it makes me happy. I feel loved. And the question is, the question that needs to be answered is, do you do that for yourself? So do you feel happy? Do you feel loved? Do you love yourself? Are you um in a right place to be in a relationship? All these questions go hand in hand. And a lot of the times we think that we are ready, but we have some baggage or some self-worth issues that we are not ready for a relationship because we have not undergone or went through those types of self-healing, I would like to say, because a lot of times people who are once they get out of relationships, a lot of people tend to move on to a new relationship because they crave that feeling, that urgency, that sensation of emotions that a relationship brings. But in the end, it brings back what they always needed to work on from themselves. And I feel like, as in a relationship, relationships are kind of a mirror of yourself and how you act. So a lot of the times, if you are, like for me, and my past relationships that I've been in, I've been very codependent. Relationship never worked out just because there was always an imbalance between the both. And I've come to accept that and realize that, and now I'm in a way better um, way. I have a better understanding of relationships and my aspects of life, and just putting more time in for myself to give myself more love so I can give more love to the relationship that I am in. I just feel like we um we get in these relationships because of that feeling, and we have to understand that we have to give ourselves this feeling first before we can before someone else can give us this feeling, before someone else can give us that feeling to you or to each other, to us. And like I said in my previous videos before, it really, all it comes down is like you loving yourself. Like, this is so very true. Like, you have to love yourself before you can actually love in another relationship. Like, love on a unconditional level. Like, you have to love yourself unconditionally to be loved unconditionally. Because a lot of the times what we seek, or what the relationships that we are in, are very conditioned. So they're very conditioned love. So what we expect from somebody, basically, the things we expect from somebody, if they don't give it to us, then what are we going to do? We're going to break up the relationship. Why? Because they didn't give us what we wanted. And whether that's as in like they cheated on you, or they were just being dishonest or disloyal, all of those things. Like you have like I feel like a lot of it has to do with like how we see it in ourselves. So we are our biggest challenge. So in relationships, when you get into relationships, it becomes even more challenging because it's not just one person, there's two people. So it's two very hard problems to deal with. And if you guys do not love, if one does not love themselves, then the other one probably won't love themselves as well. Or if one does love themselves and the other one doesn't, there's going to be an imbalance in between the relationship, just because one who is very stable and committed, they know where they stand, but they have to give in more into the relationship just because of the other person not seeing their own value and their own worth in themselves, but they seek it through the relationship. And when you seek, I would say, happiness, when you seek happiness in a relationship, you will never find it because you will always be dissatisfied because you're not seeing the bigger picture. Because a lot of people have to love, you have to love yourself to see the bigger picture of anything in all aspects of life, just because you can be very successful but you may not love yourself. Or in relationships, you may have a wonderful life, but in your love life you may not always be happy because you're always, instead of seeking happiness in yourself first, or seeking love in yourself first, you try to seek it in others. And instead of seeking it through yourself first, you expect others to give you happiness, and that's totally not true. Because why would you expect someone to give you happiness? What happens when they don't? Oh, then you automatically, it's over or whatever. I feel like relationships are kind of very based on the person you are. So if you are very committed and you're lovable, you love yourself unconditionally, or you love yourself a lot, the relationship, I'm telling you, the relationship is going to be 10 times better if you do not, better than someone who doesn't love themselves. And when two people come together and they love each other, they love themselves unconditionally, it's the best love that anybody can ever experience. And the big question is, and we have to go back and ask that question: are you ready for a relationship? Are you stable? Are you financially well? Have you worked on yourself? What are you doing now to make yourself better? What have you done? Have you put in the work? Have you done any of these things? If you can't answer any of these questions, then I would suggest reevaluating your love life before you get into one, because we have to work on ourselves before we commit to someone else. Because a lot of the times we commit to someone else before we actually end up loving ourselves, and that ends up leading us to having very bad experiences and develops I would say very negative experiences in relationships, or tendencies that we develop, and then that gets carried on throughout your next relationship. And we have to learn and look back and reevaluate it from a different perspective, and show that we were better than what we were when we first got into a relationship. It may be with a new person, or it may be with that same person, and you're just learning how to rebuild that relationship. Whatever it is, you just have to understand that if you are ready, then you have to also be considerate of the other person. Are they ready? Do they understand? Do they love themselves? And you just gotta work. The best way for anybody to be ready in a relationship is just to love themselves unconditionally and work on themselves. Because what happens when the relationship doesn't go your way? What happens if you end up being dissatisfied, or all these negative things that you wouldn't expect from this person happens, then what are you going to do? Are you going to be sad and cry about it the whole time? Do you want to be sad and cry about it? No. But you have to understand that if you love yourself enough, that all those things that happen are just going to get better, because you took that time. You took the time to love yourself and to work on yourself. So if this situation ever happened, you would be, instead of feeling so sad and connected to the relationship on a really conditioned level, you would be more focused on, although this happened, I saw this opportunity for myself to grow, and it helped you grow as a person. And I feel like a lot of people don't see that when they go into relationships. And that's all I have for you guys. So if you're a new subscriber, make sure to smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. And I appreciate every single one of you guys, and we're just gonna keep going on the top. Road to 100K, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.